Okay, 4.5, reviewing lines. We're talking about equations of lines, slope, and parallel and perpendicular lines. So, the slope of the line. Slope is, we use the letter M for slope. It's referred to often as rise over run. And if you remember the yum-yums on the picnic table, it's y minus y over x minus x. Gotta remember, rise is the up and the down over the left and the right. So that's why y over x. Find the slope between the 2 points. Just going to do the first one. You can go either direction. It doesn't matter. What I do suggest is that if you're going to start with this one, maybe you circle it. Or you say, I'm going to go this direction. Or put a star next to it or a check next to it, just to remind yourself what you're doing and which direction you're going. So I'm going to do 0 minus 1 over 3 minus 2. Now remember, if you're one of the people that often accidentally do x minus x over y minus y, which is a very common mistake, as soon as you get to work on something, write this down. Do a quiz or a test, write that down and remind yourself. If it helps you even, you can mark x and y to remind yourself which one is which. So back to number 1, 0 minus 1 is negative 1, and 3 minus 2 is positive 1. That is the slope of negative 1. If we go the other direction, 1 minus 0 over 2 minus 3, that ends up being 1 over negative 1, which still ends up being negative 1. So it doesn't matter which direction you go. And sometimes it helps. Sometimes you can avoid a double negative by going one direction. Number 2 is a case in point where it doesn't matter. You can say, I'm going to do this way, and you 5 minus negative 1. Oh, darn, I don't want to have a double negative. So I'm going to go the other direction. I'm going to go this direction. Negative 1 minus 5. Yay, I avoided the double negative. 4 minus, oh, darn it. You sometimes can't avoid it. When you have an x in one point and a y in the other point that have negatives, you will not be able to avoid it. So when I do this, it's negative 6 over 11. If I would have gone the other direction, I just would have ended up with a positive 6 and negative 11. But those are the same slopes. Think about it. If I have a point in space, and I go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and left 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have a point. If from this point I started at, instead went down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I cheated a little bit, but I'm just rough estimating. Notice it's on the same line. So this up here is up 6, left 11. This here is down 6. Right 11. It ends up being on the same line. And even from up here, I can go down 6 and right 11. Or from over here, I can go up 6 and left 11, and I still end up on the same line. Okay, number 3. I'm going to go this direction. Negative 4 minus negative 4. 8 minus negative 3. Double negatives everywhere. This ends up being plus 4, which cancels and makes 0. This ends up being positive 11. Type in your calculator. Remind yourself. 0 divided by 11 equals 0. So the slope is 0. That is a mathematical number, 0, which is quite different than Nothing. So in this one, I'm going to go this direction. 9 minus -2. -6 minus -6. Again with the double negatives everywhere. I end up with 11 over 0. If you type this in your calculator, you will get some kind of error. Why is that? Because we cannot divide by 0. There is no slope. And I often use the example, can I ski down that if I'm a skier? Yes. Could I ski down a really slope hill if I was a professional skier? Yes. Can you ski down a straight drop? No. You can't ski because there's no ski slope to ski down. There is no slope on there. It's just a drop. So my answer actually is no slope, which is different than 0. Parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have two things: opposite and reciprocal, which is a flip. And this makes sense if you think about it. Here's a positive slope. If I wrote my name on it, it'd be going uphill. If I wanted to do a perpendicular line, which means it crosses at 90 degrees, if I wanted to do that, there's my name going downhill, so it's a negative slope. This one is positive and this one is negative. The only way those two can cross at 90 degrees is if one is positive and one is negative. Hence, they have to be opposite, along with reciprocal. So if your line has a slope of 5/9, a parallel line will have the exact same slope. A perpendicular one will have a negative and flipped. And you can put the negative on the top or the bottom, but it has to go with one of the numbers. And remember, this first one is down 9, right 5, and the second one is up 9, left 5. That's the same line. Slope-intercept form. M is your slope, and B is your y-intercept. That's where we begin when we're graphing it. We begin at B. Are these lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Well, I look at the slope here. M is 3. We can also write that as 3 over 1. We don't usually, but we can. Up 3, right 1. Here, M is -1/3. Well, if you look at that, here we have a positive, here we have a negative. 3 over 1, 1 over 3. Opposite and reciprocal. Perpendicular. You can use the symbol instead of the word if you like. What's the slope on this one? Oh, 1/2. What's the slope here? 4. No. Can't do that. Why? Because we don't have y by itself. We have 8 y's. We want 1 y. So we need to divide by 8 across the board. Y equals 4 over 8 x plus 3 over 8. Well, 4 over 8 is the same thing as 1/2. M is 1/2, which means these two are parallel. You've got to put it in proper form and reduce so you can compare them. Okay, AB is at 1/5. A is 1/5, B is at 4/4. C is at 9, -10. And D is at -6, -5. Well, looking at this right now, you can tell immediately they're not going to be perpendicular. Why? There's no way those two lines are going to cross. Even if they cross way up here somewhere, like this comes up here and this would come up here, they cross, which is obviously not doing. But if they would cross somewhere off the board, way off in space, they still would not cross at a 90-degree angle. So not going to be perpendicular. But we have to see whether they're parallel or neither. So I'm just going to look at them and subtract straight down. 5 minus 4 over 1 minus 4. That's 1 over negative 3. There's my slope, negative 1/3. And then I'm going to do negative 10 minus negative 5, which is plus, over 9 minus negative 6, which is plus, which gives me negative 5 over 15. But that reduces to negative 1 over 3. Again, it doesn't matter where the negative is, as long as they're top or bottom, and those are both negative slopes of 1/3. And if you look at it, they're both going downhill. So these lines are parallel. Point slope form, just a different form than slope-intercept. The number in front of the second parentheses, the x parentheses, is your slope. And the important thing is this is always in a subtraction form. So whatever follows the subtraction is your x and your y. Now here's how I suggest you do it. I suggest you always start, leave a space, and do that. It prevents you from making mistakes, especially with negatives. So I'm going to fill it in. Y minus equals my m is 5. X minus something. And now I'm going to drop my x and y in. Here's my x, so that goes here. Here's my y, that goes here. And I am finished. Y minus 3 equals 5, x minus 2. Now here's why I do that. A lot of people look at this and go, hey, y minus 8 equals 6 times x minus 7. And that is incorrect. Which is why I say if you do it this way, horrible parentheses. If you do it this way, it's easy to drop those numbers and you go, okay, here's my y term. I want to put that right in here. Oh, you see the difference? It's not y minus 8. It's y minus negative 8. That makes a difference. You can actually leave it like this. Or you can write it as y plus 8 equals 6 times x minus 7. Either one of those is absolutely fine. But this is why I suggest, because of that double negative, why I suggest you start by filling in, putting out a skeleton and then dropping in your numbers. Okay, change the slope-intercept form. We need to be y equals. So we need to distribute the 4. Then we need to move the 2 over to get y equals 4x minus 2. There's my m and there's my b. Again here, I'm going to distribute my 3. Y plus 2 equals 3x minus 15. Make sure you distribute the both. Subtract 2 from both sides. Y equals 3x minus 17. And that's it.